This is the QTV Nightly News, and I'm Jacqueline Coley. Thank you for joining us. And a reminder that you can also join us on Q Radio on 103.3 FM. Here are the headlines. The National Human Rights Commission held a validation forum to examine the third status report on the implementation of the government's white paper in response to the TRRC report's recommendations. In an exclusive interview with QTV, Abdullahi Fati, Secretary General of the Gambia Bar Association, has stressed the urgent need for legislative reforms, highlighting the significance of the new Criminal Offence Act 2025 and the Criminal Procedure Act 2025. In a significant effort to strengthen the nation's airport security measures, the Gambia Police Force, in partnership with the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority and various security services, conducted a bomb threat simulation at the Banjul International Airport. As part of its ongoing commitment to promote dialogue and transparency, Action Aid International, the Gambia, organized a two-day technical advisory committee interface with community members and civil society organizations in the Lower River region. And in international news, the three-day intergenerational conference on women's leadership in law concluded in Kenya with profound reflections and strong commitments from women leaders from across Africa. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Before we go into tonight's stories, we had promised in the last night's bulletin to give an update on the road accident involving the coach carrying the youth basketball team that was traveling to Guinea-Conakry. The players returned home on Friday night on a chartered plane arranged by the government of the Gambia. Some of the injured players and some officials were taken away by ambulance to a health facility for medical supervision. Several wheelchairs were also seen at the foot of the aircraft, which were used to move them to the ambulances. Earlier on, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Bakari Waibaji, had given an update on his Facebook page about the chartering of the plane. As previously, we will try and keep the public updated on the recovery and progress of the injured. We wish them all a speedy recovery. Now on to the rest of tonight's news stories. On Thursday, the National Human Rights Commission held a validation forum to examine the third status report on the implementation of the government's white paper in response to the TRRC report's recommendations. Mama Buka attended the ceremony, and this is our report.
On May 25, 2022, the government of the Gambia released its white paper on the TRRC report, representing the government's position on the recommendations of the TRRC as well as their proposed implementation plan. The white paper indicated that this would serve as a roadmap for addressing the TRRC's findings and ensure accountability, justice, and reparations for victims. The National Human Rights Commission was assigned to monitor and provide annual updates regarding the white paper's implementation to the National Assembly. In line with this, the NHRC has drafted its third annual status report, outlining the progress made by various stakeholders to implement the white paper's recommendations, the challenges faced during the process, and recommendations to address them moving forward. This validation forum brings together various stakeholders including government officials, civil society organizations, victims, representatives from victim-led organizations, and technical experts to review and provide a comprehensive and timely report to the National Assembly. Here are Emmanuel Daniel Diouf, the chairman of the NHRC, and Ida Person, the head of the Secretariat of the Post-TRRC unit.
This report will not only inform the National Assembly of the progress made by the executive in implementing the white paper, but it will also serve as a tool for promoting greater accountability, interagency coordination, and sustained political will.
The outcome of our collective efforts are not always immediate or evidently felt, and we must continue to work to ensure that this is the case. However, by all indications, we are moving forward in the implementation of the TRC recommendations.
Julde Cisse, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, spoke on behalf of the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs.
Since the release of the white paper and the accompanying implementation plan 2023 to 2027 of our National Development Plan, The government has endeavored to provide the necessary financial resource for effective executions in all spheres. We will continue the partnership and support from our development partners to ensure we have the resources for the implementation.
This is Honorable Fatoumata Njie, a member of the National Assembly Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters.
It is now time for reflection and commitment, as public expectation remains high and the need for reparations cannot wait any longer. Justice must be served to the people. Justice delayed is justice denied.
The NHRC reaffirms its commitment to ensuring that there is transparency and accountability in the pursuit of human rights and justice for all citizens. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
In an exclusive interview with QTV, Abdoulaye Fati, the Secretary General of the Gambia Bar Association, stressed the urgent need for legislative reforms in the Gambia, emphasizing the importance of New Criminal Offences Act 2025 and the Criminal Procedure Act 2025. The interview was conducted by Nicholas Bass of the Verse newspaper. Here's Mamna Buka again.
The Gambian legal system has historically been influenced by laws established during British colonial rule, which often fail to reflect the contemporary values and needs of the Gambian society. These colonial laws, designed to maintain control rather than serve justice, left behind a legacy of legal ambiguity and inefficiency. The criminal court system, established in 1933, has since then been criticized for its lack of transparency and fairness. The system was weaponized by ex-President Jammeh's regime. During his 22-year rule, the Gambian legal system was used against dissenters, with laws manipulated to suppress freedom of expression and political opposition. This arbitrary use of the law to silence critics created a climate of fear, where the judiciary was seen as an extension of the executive rather than an independent arbiter of justice. The Secretary General of the Gambia Bar Association, Abdoulaye Fati, explains why the New Criminal Offences Act and the Criminal Procedure Act passed in March 2025 by the National Assembly are deemed necessary by the criminal justice system.
So it was part of our transitional justice process to have a very robust and comprehensive sort of revision of our penal legislation. So it was important that we had a new law that reflected our new democratic circumstances, our new aspirations, and the realities as well.
In contrast to the previous acts, Counsel Fati sheds light on some of the important laws that have been changed.
Under the criminal code, the punishment for murder is death penalty. The punishment for manslaughter is life imprisonment. The Criminal Offences Act of 2025, the punishment for murder is life imprisonment. The punishment for manslaughter is 10 years, except in very severe cases. So that sort of like liberalizes punishment in a way.
Counsel Fati also delved into what it took to bring these acts into existence and their importance to Gambia's current democratic landscape.
This law was actually drafted by 3 eminent Gambian jurists. They traveled, they looked at similar laws in our sister Commonwealth countries, looked at our existing criminal code, and they came with a law that speaks to our realities, that speaks to our own nuances, our own sort of cultural differences, cultural realities, and then coming up with a criminal justice system that is not only effective and robust, that also meets international standards.
The existence of the new Criminal Offence and Criminal Procedure Acts is not merely seen as a legislative update, but as part of a fundamental shift towards a legal system that prioritizes human rights, accountability, and the rule of law. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
In a joint effort to strengthen the nation's airport security measures, the Gambia Police Force, in partnership with the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority and various security services, on July 10th, embarked on a comprehensive bomb threat simulation exercise at the Banjul International Airport. The exercise aimed to test and improve coordination among various security agencies tasked with maintaining airport safety. More in this report by Ansumane Sonyasi.
The event brought together key stakeholders in national security, including officers from Immigration, the Gambia Armed Forces, Customs, Intelligence, the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, and Fire and Rescue Services, who worked to simulate a high-stakes crisis scenario at the country's only airport. The simulation, designed to replicate, among others, a bomb threat situation, involved individuals posing as suspects with bags hypothetically containing explosives. Throughout the exercise, multiple security breaches were staged, with the actors portraying individuals attempting to carry out unlawful activities at the airport. In a particularly dramatic twist, the simulation included the arrest of a government minister who was portrayed as being involved in suspicious activity near the airport. This was done to assess the readiness of security agencies in handling high-profile individuals under threat scenarios. The simulation also saw the Red Cross stepping in to evacuate and provide emergency medical assistance to injured role players. The situation escalated when the Gambia Armed Forces bomb squad was called in to neutralize several simulated bomb threats. Abdullah Koli, Director of Operations, and Lamin Diba, PRO of GCAA, emphasized that such training exercises are crucial for ensuring that airport security forces are prepared for any situation.
We need to prepare every player when they are in emergency, what to do, the rules to do. We don't want to have emergency and then prepare them. No, we prepare before emergencies. And these are requirements of Banjul International Airport, likewise being a signatory of ICAO, that is the International Civil Aviation Organization. We ensure that we prepare for such emergencies, and these are requirements that we must fulfill.
Every player in the airport ecosystem is as important as the other. The weakest part of the crank is where the strength lies. So to ensure that that crank becomes as effective as possible for efficiency, we make sure that we do the thing from the start. Before we got to today, we had what we call orientation and exercise simulations with people in their agencies. We visited the army, visited the police, we visited immigration. Every actor in the ecosystem was visited to highlight and deliberate on the activity points so that people understand the activity points in lieu to today.
The collaboration between the various agencies reflects a unified approach to handling complex threats, ensuring that the nation is better equipped to respond to any emergency. Assistant Commissioner of Police Usman Boj, Head of Airport Security, emphasized that the continuous conduct of such simulations is vital to ensuring that airport security in the Gambia meets international standards.
The police always respond to the location. First, they go and make sure that the area is being taken care of by coordinating the area and also allow the expertise to come over.
The successful execution of this exercise reinforces a national commitment to bolstering airport security and maintaining a secure environment for all passengers and staff members, with the Gambia continuing to position itself as a key player in regional air transport and as part of ongoing efforts to enhance public safety. Similar exercises are expected to be held regularly, further strengthening the nation's security infrastructure. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News.
We will now go for a commercial break, but to stay with us, we have some more local and international stories. At Ajib Bank, we are more than banking. We build bridges that connect you to pivotal services every day. Do you have government bills to pay to the Gambia Revenue Authority, Comfort, KMC, or the Accountant General's Department? We've got you covered. From payment of customs and domestic taxes to GRA, payment of number plate and vehicle ownership transfer to Comfort, payment of property rates and business license fee to KMC, and payment of MR passport, business registration, fishing license, land fees, sale of assets, lease application, development permits, quarrying royalties, gravel and sand, mining royalties, and a host of other revenue lines to the Accountant General's Department. Walk into any of our branches nationwide and make your payments hassle-free. Either in person or online. Simple, secure, and immediate. With Ajib Bank, there is no need to worry about government bill payments for your vehicles, taxes, licenses, business registration, and any other revenue line. Ajib Bank, passionate about your investment. We've got you covered. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taaw place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal ne fii rek la am bara warga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal baara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër baara warga bii mooy warga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the QTV Nightly News, and I'm Jacqueline Coley. Now, as part of its ongoing commitment to promote dialogue and transparency between duty bearers and right holders, Action Aid International, the Gambia, organized a 2-day technical advisory committee interface with community members and civil society organizations in the Lower River region. Our regional correspondent, Bakari Balde, attended the program, and he files this report.
The event provided a platform for duty bearers to engage directly with community members and civil society advocates to promote accountability and good governance. It brought together various government departments, NGOs, and community-based organizations in the region to critically discuss their achievements, challenges, and the way forward to enhance effective service delivery. Mamadou Kamara, Deputy Governor of the Lower River Region, described the event as timely and significant.
Transparency and accountability between the right holders and the duty bearers. So they have to know, because we are working for them. They're employees, you can say. We are their employees. So they have to know what they are doing with their money. Because this money is derived from them. It's from taxpayers' money. So they have to know what you are doing.
Sekuba, project manager at Action Aid International de Gambia, said the dialogue promotes social accountability and fosters cohesion, collaboration, and understanding between duty bearers and rights holders.
If we want to develop this country, we must go back to the grassroots. And going back to the grassroots means giving power to the people. And social accountability today in the world, it's the way forward for developing countries. We need to bring our duty bearers together, the councillors, okay, the NAMs, the president, everybody who is holding a responsibility. Let's bring them on board. Let's ask them questions. You said you are going to do this and you couldn't do it. Why? How? Sometimes we may assume and we may get it wrong. Sometimes they are also struggling with resources. But if they don't come on board and then we have that dialogue, we would not know whether they are struggling. We will be blaming them. And also if they don't come on board, they will also try to take leverage on us. They will say, these people don't care.
Akibu Jajusi, second vice president of the Regional Football Association, Bakari Diop and Lobeka from the Global Platform Network were among the participants in the dialogue.
Together, when we sit with our service providers and we discuss issues, to be honest, this will bring development and it will also create that barrier, understand, miscommunication between people and their institutions, and it also creates accountability and transparency.
I've asked the chairman about the what step is he and then his council taking towards the people that are cutting down the trees and then also people that are burning charcoal as well. And then another question that I asked him, not only as a representative of the global platform, but also as a young person of this region, I've asked him about the criteria that they use in order to give scholarship to the students.
To start with, I have learned many things, starting from the importance of the third party in development and what are some of their responsibilities towards us, and equally to know what we should do in order to make their works easy.
Participants expressed hope that the outcomes of the dialogue will translate into practical actions that improve the lives of people in the Lower River region and strengthen partnerships for sustainable development. Bakari Balde, QTV News.
Coming up next is international news. The three-day intergenerational conference of women in leadership in law concluded with profound reflection and commitments from women leaders from across Africa. The conference brought together a diverse group of legal professionals dedicated to fostering collaboration and empowering future generations. Zainabu Chow attended the conference in Nairobi, Kenya, and she tells us more.
Over the course of 3 days, the conference featured a series of panel discussions and networking opportunities aimed at bridging the gap between seasoned leaders and emerging voices in law. Here is Janet Ramatulai Salanjai from the Gambia, who attended the convergence as a special rapporteur of the rights of women in Africa for the African Commission and People's Rights and is the Commission's vice chairperson.
We have to actually make sure that we encourage women at the national level to do away with the culture of silence, because we know violations happen, but nobody claims their rights, because most often women are silenced when they try to claim their rights. So we work on ensuring that women are not silenced based on the cultural barriers, based on the community barriers, religious barriers. Then we'll be able to have women claim their rights. And then we'll be able to set the rights jurisprudence that the entire continent can use for the promotion and protection of women's rights in the continent.
Participants from various African nations brought a wealth of perspectives on the unique obstacles women face in various fields. Here is Nomatemba Ndolovu, a legal researcher at the Center for Applied Legal Research in Zimbabwe.
I actually was trying to think and see what can we do as a country in Zimbabwe when I go back. And I was looking at there are a lot of lawyers out there. We're young lawyers. We're still wanting to get into the spaces. We need mentorship. We need these intergenerational discussions where they can sit with all the lawyers, with the chief justices in the field to understand how they made it into the spaces. I mean, it might be funny, but it's very actually important that we actually learn from the people that have actually walked the path and understand what were the struggles that they actually saw and experienced to get to where they are.
Recognizing the importance of continual collaboration and networking, the organizers aims to establish a mentorship program that connects established leaders with young professionals. As the event concluded, participants left with renewed energy and a collective commitment to continue the fight for gender equality in the legal and other professions. With the resounding message of unity of empowerment in the hall, the intergenerational dialogue on women in leadership in law is on the path to establishing a strong foundation for future generations to build upon, ensuring that women continue to shape justice across Africa. Zainabu Chow for QTV News.
Also in international news, a top police officer has shaken South Africa's political landscape and gained public support after making serious allegations that criminal networks have infiltrated President Cyril Ramaphosa's government, Usman Jatta reports.
Lieutenant General Ngwanaze made headlines earlier this month with a dramatic press conference broadcast live on national TV. Dressed in military-style uniform and flanked by armed MAX officers, he accused Police Minister Senzo Chono of having links to organized crime. The general's allegations are an echo of the allegations that brought down former President Jacob Zuma.
This fight is very big, so it needs people who are committed. People who are not worried. They're going to suspend, they're going to dismiss you, they can get you out of the police. When you're out of the police, join men and women in the private sector that are dedicated in dealing with this criminality.
In an unprecedented move, Lieutenant General Ngwanaze also claimed the minister shut down a special unit investigating political murders after it uncovered a powerful drug cartel operating within the business sector, prisons, prosecution and judiciary. We are in combat mode I am taking on the criminals directly, Ngwanaze declared. Organized crime is a major concern in South Africa. Renowned South African politician and founder of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Julius Malema, praised General Ngwanaze for his bold and decisive action.
Ntantla Mkhwanazi, when you look at him, you see a man in uniform who's disciplined, who's determined to deal with crime in South Africa.
Crime expert Dr. Johan Burger described the problem as very serious, citing past scandals like the 2010 conviction of former police chief Jackie Salebi, who was jailed for accepting bribes from a drug lord. However, this is the first time a senior officer has publicly accused a sitting cabinet minister, especially the one overseeing the police, of criminal ties. The fallout was immediate. Minister Chuno, who was suspended on 13th July 2025, denied the claims, calling them wild and baseless.
Justice means there must, both sides of the story must be heard.
But public sentiment quickly turned in Ngwanaze's favor, including the KwaZulu-Natal, the former minister's constituency. The hashtag Hands of Ngwanaze trended on social media, warning the government not to retaliate against the outspoken officer. Crime analyst Calvin Radafi told the BBC that Ngwanaze is widely respected as a no-nonsense figure who takes action against wrongdoing. This is not Ngwanaze's first bold move. About 15 years ago, as acting police chief, he suspended crime intelligence boss Richard Modnole, an ally of then-President Jacob Zuma. Modnole was later sentenced to 5 years in prison for kidnapping and assault, proving Ngwanaze's judgment right. Despite political pressure to protect Modnole, Ngwanaze stood firm, a move that cost him his job less than a year later. The Lieutenant General's actions are unusual, and it remains to be seen whether this will inspire similar actions in other African countries where similar allegations have been made against politicians. Now, the 52-year-old is once again at the center of national attention and public admiration. Osman Jata, QTV News.
This is where we draw the curtain on tonight's bulletin, but join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Weekend Review with Ade Darame and Momodou Mboch. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.